trait. The target is clumsy 1 for 2 rounds.
I saw that today.
Yeah. Slug, stunned 1. So yeah, I'm just trying to employ all the rules we've invented is a lot of work.
Yeah, right. It's a lot to remember.
Yeah, I probably have it easier than some of you guys because I had a hand in writing a bunch of the rule stuff.
Well, Mike, when it comes to you, I figure if you don't know the rule, we don't need it.
Fair.
Who's going to validate? Who's going to verify this? Oh, he's not here? Okay, we're...
Yeah, it's like Buddha.
We'll play without it.
But not really.
Eric, does Bunny still use a rev jack at all?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't. Is it something he has pulled it out every so often, but since he's got the bighorn, he hasn't been playing with the rev jack.
I gotcha. I just totally forgot about what the smoothbore trait does until Keith was just reading the
kickback,
the critical effect. Yeah. Well, the knockdown.
The knockdown, and we actually had that moment because I ran up to. No, it was the Norman.
It was the Norman. Yeah. No, it wasn't the Norman. It was the Count, wasn't it?
It was the photographer guy. So I think it was the Norman. But I didn't. The Count. I didn't do a direct face off. That was entirely Bjorn. But we did rev jacked both barrels. I critted on one of the barrels, and he hit the ground, and then Bjorn went through a window and mauled him. So.
And then he still got away.
No, he died that time. He died. The Norman died definitely.
Oh, the Norman. Yeah.
That was on the Isle of Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
I'm still thinking of the hammer.
Hammer in the Paris theater.
And on the road after the airfield.
Oh, how many times has he slipped away with that little jacket?
Twice. Bjorn doesn't forget.
No.
He's going to wear the guy's head for a hat.
Which guy is this?
Hammer.
Oh, yeah.
Use his brain as his head, his skull is a bull, I would figure, more than...
I eat my cereal out of his skull.
That's right.
Got to hold it just a certain way, and you had to shellac it so it didn't leak through certain
After
bite
I
marks.
had my way with the eye sockets.
Well, I didn't think your manhood would be that small. Huh.
I was just going to finger him.
Oh. How about that?
I threw a placeholder feat up on the spreadsheet, Mike. It was human shield.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Isn't that Bjorn's nickname?
No, that's Bullet Sponge. The idea behind the feat was essentially using an athletics check against a nearby target, and if somebody targets you that round and you've made a successful athletics check, you can, as a reaction, use their body to absorb the bullets if they fail or something like that. There's been so many encounter circumstances, especially in movies, where you see somebody just kicking ass and you're like, okay, the fight's about to go down. I'm going to loosen up my hands, get ready. If somebody draws down on me, this guy gets the first couple of rounds from a
That's
single
right. That's a patented Schwarzenegger move.
And then you ride him like a toboggan. And somehow that absorbs 2 stories of falling damage, too.
That's right. Sometimes more.
I put it in as a placeholder for the idea. I knew it wasn't close, but
it's close.
It's against a single target. Any shots they take at you during the round.
You could do it one of two ways. You could either make it improve your armor class, or you could just make the ranged attacks target their armor class.
Okay, and that was kind of the intent, because the last little sentence I put was, it has to get past their armor class to damage them. But
yeah,
that kind of brings in caveats that are hard to manage. I'm like, there's got to be a cleaner way to implement this.
No, I like what you have here, and it's pretty close to being like a, yeah. I'd have to look at some numbers and some other abilities and feats to make sure we're not stepping on toes. But I'm pretty positive we can make this one fit in.
It just felt thematically perfect.
Oh yeah.
There's been a half dozen scenarios where that would have come in handy.
Yeah.
And the relationship of being adjacent to them kind of is a limiting factor. You got to be in close.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're surrounded by a bunch of thugs or whatever, and they're maybe the one guy's getting up in your face and his buddies start to fire on you, you pull him in front. Yeah.
I think the skill, I guess, that Bjorn has, where I think it's called brutality. If he hits, he can carry through to an adjacent person. That could probably be modified to grab him and throw him in front of the next guy, or just use him as a club.
I hold his ankles. We do the helicopter.
I would almost make this not be a readied action. I would just make it a I just went blank. Reaction. I would just make it a reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the thing is that I want you to have to plan for it in advance, right? To always have it on standby might be too much. But if you're like, oh, things are going to go south.
You are burning a feat to take this ability, though, so it's not like anybody can just do it.
That's true.
We could add rules for doing this as a readied action, but then have a feat let you do it as a reaction.
I like that. Because I think anybody can have the idea. It's the execution that hurts.
Yeah.
So the downside of the hardback publishing is that it's not on Amazon Prime. It basically takes a week for them to process it, and then they ship it.
So is it? Have you put it up? It's
live. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I'm gonna wait for you to get yours. Make sure you're still 100% happy. Let me know, and I'm gonna order.
I haven't everybody go get yours. I'm like, get mine first. I made a lot of changes visually to the book to make it fit on there. I'm like, I just want to make sure that the text font is right size, everything, nothing's cut off.
Yeah.
But yeah, waiting 10 days is killing me.
I mean, yeah, you're used to that 2-day Prime shipping.
I'm so spoiled.
Yeah, dude, I feel you on that. I mean, it used to be that, I would, once a week, I'd throw stuff in my Amazon cart, but then only do one order a week or something like that. Now I'm just like, oh yeah, I need this $5 thing right now. Next day, oh, I need this $10 thing right now. And just have a constant stream of packages arriving at my door.
If I don't have something en route to me, I feel like life is empty.
Right?
We keep a guest room for the Amazon delivery guy.
That makes sense. He just comes home at the end of his shift with all of all your stuff.
Because he's going to be here anyway. So.
Hmm. So Mike, I instead of using Arcane Sense as my 7th level general feat, I put in Accelerated Meta Magic.
I like that feat.
Here too. I mean, it's really great, especially for covert ops. If you want to try to do something quietly and without saying it or doing it, right? So I can silence spell. I can issue semantics or materials, and like I can cut down 2 things and still get the spell off in a round.
Right. That the payback that you have to do for it though is
It's pretty brutal. Well, that's where I have to rely on the rest of the team to cover me while I rest.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be so vulnerable the next round. I'm useless.
Yeah, I'm glad you took that.
It feels like the right thing if we're like ever in a showdown where they've got guns on us and I want to cast a spell without giving away any sign. It's kind of the only way I can do it.
Yeah, stun too. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, I can basically stand up from being knocked on my ass by whoever's pissed at me that turn.
Yeah, I think I took it on that one shot Tom did on,
Yeah.
on the caster I had there, and I think I used it once. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready?
We are. Should we do a recap?
Yeah, who wants to knock out 3-minute recap or intro?
Mike's really good at these.
Oh shoot, yeah, but then I got to remember where we were. That was
That's
2
why
weeks
I'm handing
ago.
it to you because I can't remember.
Oh,
Okay. We were at the ski resort. Let's see, what were we doing up there? We were scouting out for blue houses, blue barns.
Blue Barns.
Yeah. We were planning on, we kind of mingled up there, a bunch of celebration going on. We were planning on heading back down shortly, and a storm rolled in.
He's going to be here
so
anyway.
everybody heads inside. We kind of, drinking. Some choir practice was happening.
The guy, the manager that I want to still have firm conversation with said, when it starts howling outside, I shut the doors.
Right.
Howling.
So Bonnie put on his Karen hat and started chasing down that
That's
guy.
right.
Sounds like he's still wearing it.
We eventually decided to go and investigate the situation ourselves. We step out there and we get into a fight with a Yeti, minus Robin, who is inside at the bar.
Hot stepping.
Yeah, but she makes her way out as we're coming in, and we kind of do one of those chasing each other around. She narrowly avoids death out there. Real lucky on a couple miss swings from the Yeti. And then we get back in, we repair the door that we break down, and then the storm dissipates. The reason we were out there is they started moving people down the tram.
Yeah.
And we were watching them. Okay, yeah.
We figured that something bad was out there, and that the manager said, "Get out there." Start sending people down, and it's like, oh, we better protect this group as they go out. And then we got caught out there, but I had a camera, and I got, I think, 1 or 2 good shots of the Yeti.
Well, so we head back down, and you go to develop your picture, and you get stuck up by a pair of Echelon agents.
This is a stick up. My friend here's got a Tommy gun. He's gonna riddle you full of holes if you don't start talking. Or something like that. Right?
That's pretty much how it went.
And I'm like,
Danny pulls his great Warner Brothers cartoon maneuver.
I took one in the shoulder on the way out,
It's a
but
full-on road runner.
It was a graze. It was a graze. You're fine.
it was a graze. It was quick repair on that one, but
Rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine.
And then that pretty much is it, except for somebody cast something on Cornell right at the end, and he made his save, and it's not was it a beaver? It was a beaver.
It was a beaver for just a moment, which freaked out Bjorn, and everybody else thought it was a magic trick.
It was a magic trick. Just wasn't Cornell's magic trick.
Right.
Just wait for, Bjorn to say, "Oh," and he answers as a bear. So Cornell turns into a beaver, and Bjorn answers, turns into a bear, and whoa,
Bear and the beaver.
It's a party.
You have to practice holding on to your shape. Perhaps something more fearsome than a beaver. Honey badger.
I just assumed you turned into whatever your true nature is.
A honey badger don't give a shit.
That's right. And I think Blanca and Robin were back at the hotel. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you and Bjorn were at the Oktoberfest, and Banny ran back to the hotel and was not pursued.
That is
correct.
They know where we're at. They already lost Marguerite.
Well, and we've kind of reached this consensus that we're going to treat this hotel as our fortified known area instead of relocating. So I think here forward, our modus operandi is we're in hostile territory, but this is the fortress.
Yeah, they know we're here. They're keeping eyes. They've probably got watch at the door at all times, and we should stop splitting the party. So yeah. I'll stop doing this.
After imbibing copious amounts of beer from busty beer wenches, Bjorn suggests that you go back to the hotel, Cornell.
I'm fine with that. Whatever we're drinking here isn't sitting well with me, so let's head on back.
You'll have to tell me how you did that.
Small.
I wish I knew, Bjorn. I wish I knew.
Strangely enough, no one molests the two of you while you make your way back to the hotel.
Huh.
Good.
It's because you're not dressed right.
I wouldn't.
Later, Hosen, you'd have never made it.
Probably true.
But you would have been molested in the way you wanted to be molested.
You would have grabbed your suspenders, you would have run for 100 feet and snapped right back to them.
Because those leather shorts will not give way. They will spring back.
Oh, I bet they chafe like a mother.
Oh.
So your team is together in the lobby of the St. Moritz. Night has fallen. Tomorrow is another day. What are you going to do?
We need to set some plans. We need to make some plans. Blanca, lead us in a discussion.
Yeah, let's go into the bar and have this discussion.
Very loudly.
Well, I'm thinking inquire at the desk. We've already seen that that's not the greatest thing. Yeah. Follow through anyway. See if we can get a private room. It's not one of our hotel suites, but just kind of a small conference room.
Roll a percentage.
Percentage? I never get to do that.
Beat 100.
82.
It was close.
Sorry, we don't have any such rooms.
How late is the bar open?
Until 2.
Till 2. What time is it now?
It is 11:30.
How full is the bar?
Not very. Everybody's out at the Oktoberfest.
You know what? Let's say this is a private party. Reserve the bar.
Yeah, what would that cost?
Who do you talk to?
The bar manager, not the bartender.
The hotel? Well, it's attached to the hotel, right?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. How much notice do you need to reserve the bar area for a private party?
The guy at the desk does direct you to the bartender. He might be able to accommodate you.
Very good. Move that direction. I guess it's time to use some augmented discussion capabilities in order to reduce the fee for this.
Lovely.
Lovely. When I'm about 30 feet from the bar, start the early concoctions of a charm spell.
Okay.
And come beaming up to the bar like the teenager.
The bartender stands at attention with his hands folded behind his back in the classic Nazi pose.
Good
evening.
evening. Sorry for our late arrival. Things look a little slow here tonight.
Yeah, everyone is up at the plaza.
I was hoping that we could maintain this exclusivity here. Is there a way to see to it that only our party is the one being served here tonight? Reach into my clutch and pull out a 100 lira note, slide it across.
Very good, madam. He takes it and makes it disappear. Comes around the bar, walks back over to the doors, and pulls them closed.
Wow, that was the best charm spell I've ever used.
Did you actually use
money.
it? Yeah. Yeah. Always works.
Indicate to the table that we want to sit at, not one with a nice view down onto the lower plazas, but still commanding view of any entrance in here.
There's just a back bar door, another door on the opposite side. You don't know where that goes. There are glass doors that go out onto a very large elevated deck area that will overlook a good portion of the town. And then there's the doors to the lobby.
That area, the temperature outside's nice enough that we could be outside if we wanted to, right?
Yeah, it's going to drop down in the evenings. You've discovered it drops down into the low 40s.
Okay. I think we'll stay warm in here. I'm not acclimated for that just yet.
One of the hotel people's already built a fire in the fireplace.
Yeah.
It's it's styled after a ski lodge. So there's big, comfortable couches and leather chairs, and you can go have tables if you want, or you can just descend on the conversation pit in front of the fireplace.
Order enough beers for all of us and indicate we're sitting at a table and go sit there.
Bjorn's favorite cocktail waitress brings the beers, tips him a wink, and you are all liquidly refreshed.
Boom.
Team, we have clearly stepped into an assignment that is multifaceted. And yesterday's Yeti aside, there's a lot going on up here, and we've got to tighten our ship just a little bit.
Bjorn leans forward and says, "It feels like we've been on the defensive since we arrived. When do we go on offense?"
I agree, Bjorn. It's time to make sure Echelon understands we're not a second team here on vacation. They've stirred a hornet's nest, and if they want to keep stirring, it's going to cost them again.
Yeah, if they wanted the B team, they would have sent the B team.
Be that as it may. Let's review the mission objectives here. We're trying to get to this blue barn to get this agent who's
Defecting.
got information. Correct?
Well, he's defecting. He's supposed to be pulled into the ranks in some way or another after being vetted.
Right. So this is really a capture, secure, and evacuate mission. And any entanglements with Echelon are really outside of the mission. I don't want to go on a hunting expedition here for them. That's not really what we're here for. But we need to be way more cautious than we've been. I feel like when we were up on top of the mountain, we kind of got a glimpse down into a unique area. The film crew was over there doing their thing. We saw kind of this lone blue barn out there. It's kind of a long shot to assume that that's our barn, but I also kind of don't believe that in randomness, right? That there's a likelihood that we saw that for the reason that somebody else pointed it out as why we're up here. So I'd like to kind of get there as much as possible. I don't know when the film crew's coming back, but it might make sense if they're the ones who've been out there already, either go with them or shadow them. What do you guys think?
And didn't Benny say that that was the only blue barn close to the mountain pass?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps that is the way he came in through Lupania?
Yep. This idea that you can go through there without any sort of passports and only in very specific times of year makes a whole lot of sense. And if you just slip through that border, that's the first spot.
It's not for the weak-hearted, right? Climbing the Alps to cross the border represents a fair amount of effort and ingenuity.
Yeah. So inside of the city, as long as we're together, they're going to observe, but they're not going to engage. I had an incident. I don't know if I've mentioned this to either you, Bjorn, or Cornell, but I got shot trying to get this film developed. And so they know where we're at. They're on to us, and just have to be hyper aware. And I will stop leaving the party. Sorry. I figure everybody is working together, and we should just stick together on whatever.
Bjorn says, "Where did you get shot?"
It's right here. Maybe you want to kiss it better? It's just right.
I get the worst wound when I shave my shoulder hair.
Well, I'm not saying that they're great shots. The guy that I encountered had dark hair, but he's dressed like the locals. No, he's dressed like the tourists. So he blends in fairly well.
Or stands out.
Or stands out just like all the other tourists. So easy to spot. But we have the option of renting an electric vehicle and moving that direction, because as long as we've been told that the skies are cleared, I really do think that whatever that was not a natural storm that just rushed.
But let's assume that those can come whenever they decide to go hunting, and that we have no control over that weather.
Yeah.
And we saw how awful it was to deal with one, and we heard multiple howls out there.
Well, I think that there were two, absolutely two, maybe three, but.
Well, I actually created one of those voices as a distraction, so reduce that from whatever head count you've got going on.
You probably want to tell us stuff like that's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, good job on the Yeti calling.
Although, it was babbling in Aklo. I heard that, right? It wasn't just me. We do think that these are truly things.
I didn't recognize it, but it definitely vocalized something. But if you've heard Aklo...
Well, I've heard it, and when it makes your stomach turn, pretty much gets that sense of, that's unnatural.
That suggests a lot. I mean, Yeti have been elusive for, well, as long as we've known the terminology, right? And if they can step in and out of the middle Welkin, and I'm not suggesting that maybe that's their capability, but Aklo is that's a native language to the plane, right?
Yep, it is. I did pull out the tessimeter after the fact inside after the storm had passed, though. So I'm curious if
they might have some different means to move back and forth that may not create a rift or even a weak spot.
Yeah, but just traveling in the snow just means they can evade and hide, and I could not see it. could not see it. It was.
Yeah, even though we knew it was there.
I was looking right at it, and it just, I can't see it.
It was more terrifying than anything I saw in war.
No, you know what was more terrifying? Seeing you terrified.
Yeah.
That
And I am full of shame. Not as full of shame as I would be if I got a shaving cut on my shoulder and passed it off as a bullet wound, but shame.
no. You should feel great and deep shame. Huge. I was in there pointing a camera at the thing, not helping Cornell. Pointing a
Oh,
camera.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
He points at the waitress. When I could only perform 3 times, I felt shame.
All right, let's stay focused.
Poor woman.
Team. This is not dating night. This is not a beer festival. We are on assignment here. It's late at night, and we're probably not going out at this hour. So I would like to leave first light, or even before, if that's possible.
Yeah. So let's just make sure that we get a vehicle rented. Get out to the, and I think we make a beeline it to the camp, but along the way, just take a quick jog over to the.
Cornell, did you see any other way to get out there other than by vehicle?
I didn't see anything. I wasn't really looking though. Bonnie, did you see anything in your telephoto lens?
I have pictures. I could see that there was a road out that way, and it leaves from the city we're in, goes that way, and then turns up to go to the pass. So we do have an ingress to that space.
You know what you all would have noticed looking over the edge was that particular farm is about half a mile below the snow line, the glacier line. South of that, it's about 3 miles across mountain meadows, all uphill from the tree line. So overland is another possibility.
So if you want to hoof it, we can hoof it.
Well,
But
Benny,
it
this
is
your
wide
bailiwick.
open. There are no trees out there.
Yeah, and a good sniper is a good sniper.
I'd feel more comfortable in a vehicle, personally.
Too. Although I'd love to probably fit my gun with a scope so I can return fire if necessary. That should be fine.
What do we need to get you guys what you need tonight so we can be ready in the morning?
I'm ready. Maybe some trail mix. Gotta have trail mix.
Hail the bartender.
Bartender comes over.
Do you have more nuts? Raisins?
No.
Raisins, dried fruits, no vegetables,
Yeah, I
please.
send the girl. She comes over with a couple bowls of trail mix.
Another round of drinks for everyone, please.
She is quick to respond.
All right, Benny, you're not sleeping alone tonight, so
I'll just roll out a mat or a bed inside of the boys' room.
we're also taking a watch, and I think somebody should be. I mean, we're down the hall from the elevator and the stairs. Whoever's on
There's
watch.
no elevator, just stairs.
Okay, that
So-
makes it easier.
We hotbed it then. That's fine.
Okay.
That way, nobody's sleeping on the floor. That sounds perfect. But, awkward but perfect. This will be fun.
Bjorn says, take the watch at the top of the stairs. That's what I did.
I'm happy to take first or mid, whatever.
Aren't you still healing?
Oh, I know. Look at this. See that? Ow. Oh.
You're right. You get first watch.
If I get first watch, then I can still get 8 hours. First light, that means we're getting to bed early, aren't we?
Try not to let a draft blow up your skirt while you are out there on watch.
I wouldn't mind getting a good amount of sleep as well. My ribs are still pretty tore up from that Yeti.
Okay,
All right.
he's last watch. Everybody in the middle? No, Blanca always has to have her 8 hours. How are we going to work it?
There are 5 of us. Why do we need a 5th watch? Do it in 2-hour shifts.
Works for me.
Just the 4 of us, and let the Cornell rest.
All right. So I'll take breakfast watch.
Sure.
Okay.
And I'll take first.
Robin can be second, and I will take 3rd watch.
Who's ever on first watch, touch them with a message spell, and then go lay down. We're gonna finish your beers. Let's get to bed early.
Okay. I now
You
have
do
a message
so.
spell.
The bartender clicks his heels and gives you a head nod as you depart. Cocktail waitress blows Bjorn a kiss, and you all troop up to your rooms. Hotel feels very quiet. You're pretty sure that it's probably full at this point, just because of how many people you saw in the square. But they're either already sleeping or they're still down at the party.
Okay. So we almost have the entire floor to ourselves, correct?
You're on like a mid floor where it has 3 rooms and nothing else. It's
Okay.
a hallway to a window that looks out on the street and the stairs down to the lobby.
Have people been smoking inside the building?
Of course, it's 1935.
That's perfect. I'm going to take a pipe and I'm going to sit inside. I'm going to set up a table, have a drink, mostly ice, but a dash of whiskey. And I'm going to be smoking a pipe. Do I have a pipe? I keep losing my pipes. They keep on getting destroyed. Yeah. I'll rustle something from somebody, and
Ask Blanca to check her Burgundian Army knife. It's probably got one.
you can
She
scrape it
brought
out.
the deluxe version.
Just whip out one side and whip out the bowl on the other. And
Oh, look, it's a tessimeter.
hey! Pew, pew. Wow, it's
It's a
crazy.
human femur bone. Don't know why that's there.
Okay,
Vanny,
I'll take first.
Vanny, you are on watch from midnight to 2, and right around 1 a.m. you hear giggling and shoes and boots coming up the stairs.
I have my Derringer under a leg. I've got my holstered Toro on one side. I'm actually up against the door where so everything is facing in so it was facing away from the stairway, and I'm just reading a book, smoking a pipe.
Coming up the stairs is a pair of it's a couple in their late 20s. She's blonde and filling out her ski sweater quite well. They both look extremely inebriated, holding on to the walls and each other to keep from falling. Intimately close together, and you can smell the beer coming off of them. They come to a stop on the stairs when they look up and see you. And do you speak Alemanni?
No, I'm broken. Always broken.
You're broken.
But broken, yes.
What you hear is, "Oh, please to excuse me."
Please do excuse me. I nod, lift the pipe and nod and just keep reading, but out of the corner of my eye, watch them.
She says something to him. You catch the word room. He laughs, digs in a pocket, pulls out a room key, looks at it, turns it upside down, and then they both start laughing and apparently make some kind of an apology and stumble back down the stairs.
just quick glance of faces. Just read the faces. What? I mean, can I perceive if anybody is faking it? Just take a look and see if, like, ruddy colors, red
Roll a
face.
perception.
That is a 27.
They look like a couple of drunks to you.
Okay. I will go with that, but if they started advancing, I would immediately halt them. But we'll go from there. Yep.
The rest of your watch is quiet. 2 o'clock arrives, and it is Robin's turn up.
Bum, bum, bum. I go in, quietly rouse Robin, but not too aggressively. Okay, and I swap beds with her. Go to sleep.
She goes to take her watch, and you find her headless in the morning.
Oh,
No, that's not quite fair to Ken.
Oh, well, at least she's not bit in half, and
That's right.
partially digested by the time we get her out of there.
She wakes Bjorn. Blanca, you feel like you just went to sleep, and then it's your turn to be woken. Was Blanca gonna spend a watch, and they were gonna let Cornell sleep, or were you gonna let Blanca take a full 8?
We wanted her to take a full 8. I mean, when we went to bed, was it really at midnight or was it like at 10 or something?
No, it was at midnight.
Oh, okay.
Because it was 11:30 when you were in the bar.
Shy.
One of you can take a double, but you'll be at a -2 the next day from fatigue. Or 2 of you can split it up, and you'll each be at a -1.
She needs 8. How much did she burn off? Do we know? Cornell being full strength is most important. I say I will take an extra watch if somebody rouses, because I'm actually sleeping in Robin's bed right now.
Bjorn doesn't wake you. He just takes the second watch himself.
Okay.
Because the fact that he's sober counteracts the fact that he won't have any sleep.
Didn't get to drink enough. Okay.
You are all awoken with knocking at the door and your favorite Viking grumpily telling you to get your asses out of bed.
Oh, perfect. It's what I like to hear in the morning. Perfect.
Steady.
Hurry. We have a car to rent.
Here, I'll get the car. Somebody
Why
stay with...
don't I go with you,
Okay.
honey?
Yeah,
let's not send you solo.
Together.
Oh, she's got to study. You want to stick
I
around
can study in the car.
Okay. Let's all... I've got my bag. Everybody got their day bag. I got my trail mix.
The 5 of you troop through Zermatt. It's about 8:30 by the time you hit the streets. It's already starting to get busy. A lot of people carrying skis, off to get an early start. All of the pubs and the cafes all open early to take advantage of the tourists. Most of the shops are already open. Do you make your way? Where do you go?
We check in with the hotel to see exactly where we're supposed to go.
There's a different man at the desk. You wish to rent a car?
Yes.
Go down to the plaza. There is a small rental service adjacent to the tram station.
Excellent.
But hurry, because they go quickly.
I can imagine. We will do that. Thank you, sir. Exit and move on hastily.
Head through the streets
in a spear formation. Just
I stay on his tail. I follow him through.
That's right. Bjorn stays behind to buy some pastries. I will be right back, gentlemen.
Okay.
Keith, I rewrote that as a reaction if you want to look at it.
Okay.
What is the thing you were looking at?
Keith had a really good feed idea where you basically use somebody adjacent to you as a shield against a incoming attack, like a ranged attack. So you pull them in front of you.
Interesting. So this is is it like voluntary or involuntary? It seems
Well,
involuntary.
Involuntary. You have to make an athletics check of some kind to pull them over. And I don't know if it would go against their armor class or if it would just be a straight up athletics check, or you could possibly do it against reflex. You don't catch them by surprise.
You don't necessarily have to grab them and hold them like a shield. You can just step behind them or give yourself soft cover. Is it like a +2 to AC or something like that? If that's
we talked about just having it up your AC, but it's if you are successful in moving them with the athletics, they become the target of the ranged strike.
And I could see make a success and a critical success, and the critical success means they take the bullet, and a regular success would be a increase in AC. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's powerful. That could be brutal. But yeah. I like that though. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was a good idea on his.
You're adjacent to a creature. Quick thinking and quicker reflexes allow you to use them. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of having graduated successes. So the idea, if you're successful, you basically get soft cover. And if you're critically successful, they take the damage.
Yeah, it'd be really easy to put in that.
That looks really good.
He's getting to bed late.
He was getting to bed late?
No, just the fact that Blanco always gets to bed late. We
Well, she needs to get to bed at like 10 o'clock so we can start earlier.
Yeah. I thought I didn't realize we were that late in the hotel.
I thought he said it was earlier. But maybe we drank for too long a period.
Oh, I wanna. Can we just, as soon as we rent the vehicle, can we see if the film guy is open? See if we can develop this film. I'm serious.
Single-minded, Bonnie.
I'm serious. I really want this developed. Mainly because, first off,
are you going to be comfortable leaving it behind?
No, I would walk right in to a dark room with him, and he can develop the film. It doesn't take long to develop.
How long does it take?
It would be.
It's not going to be a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it's not going to be a quick turnaround, but I would be in the room with it. Okay, fine. We'll leave it all behind.
When we get back. Mission first, secondary mission second.
It is totally a mission first thing. Mission first thing.
Blanca's in her diary anyway, so she's barely listening to what you're saying because she's focusing on spell memorization.
You make your way down to the plaza. It's skiers and mountain climbers getting ready to truck off. Backpackers are forming up into groups. There is a line at the tram station of skiers, and just to the right of it is a small cabin type of structure with about a half a dozen. Picture a European minivan.
Woo! Perfect.
Not terribly big, probably seat 6, 8 if you cram them in. All of them have ski racks on the roofs, and there are 6 left. It looks like there's spaces for quite a few more.
Randy, we should probably get some skis on the side so we don't look too out of place, and it might come in handy.
Can we do snowshoes instead?
There are 2 ski shops right on the plaza.
I mean, we could do skis, no problem, but snowshoes I think we can actually use if we do get stuck in a place in a.
I agree with Bonnie on this.
Okay, let's.
Not all of us were raised, coming to the Alps to ski every winter. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder of peasantry.
Wait.
You're welcome.
My peasantry or? Okay. I'll get that. Well, let's get this settled first, and then we'll drive over and pick up what gear we need, or at least just get settled. I just want to make sure that we have one of these vehicles.
Grab a bench outside the ski shop and try to dedicate my time to reading, but if I can possibly use perception to just kind of keep an eye on our general surroundings.
I don't know that she can do both of those. If she's going to be studying her spells, I think she's really got to be into it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to point at Robin and say, can you keep her company?
Robin trots over, sits down, and broods.
Okay. Let's get inside and get this work done.
A gentleman in the classic alpine lederhosen and feathered hat is all smiles this morning, asking you if you've come to rent one of his fine vehicles.
The finest. I will rent one of your vehicles. How many do you have available? Just one? 8?
6.
6?
We have 6. Your choice of any color on the lot. They're all the same vehicle. It will be a 500 lira deposit and 100 lira per day usage.
That sounds fair. Now, do we bring them back here and you charge them for us when we're back in town?
Yeah, it should last you for a day. The restrictions are that you do not take it over the pass into Lupania. Anywhere else you wish to go, the charge should last you throughout the day. You should be back by 6 or 7. If you get into trouble, he gives you a card with a phone number on it. He said, we will send a charging tow out to you. There will be an additional charge for that should you need to do that. And of course, it will take some time. But if you are back in time, you should not have a problem.
Understood. And all of that is well and good. Now, it can reach the pass, but do not go over the pass into Lupania. Is that what you said?
Yeah, we are not licensed in Lupania.
Okay. So we will stay on this side of the border. That's all acceptable. So let me rifle through my billfold. Here's 600 lira.
He asks for your passport. He jots it down, asks you to sign the document, and it is yours for the day.
Excellent. Thank you so much, sir.
He walks out with you. Take your pick, and I will document which vehicle you took.
Garish. Garish.
There's one that's bright yellow.
That is it. Yellow. The bus. We're doing the school bus. Okay.
You get the bright yellow minivan. He documents it, retrieves the keys for you, and wishes you to have a pleasant day in and around Zermatt.
Ooh. Now I get to drive the battery-powered vehicle. Okay. Unless he still wants to drive it. He's a better driver than... Oh, and so is Cornell, so... Any
Bjorn tells
takers?
you that if the rest of the mission is any indication of what's to come, he should probably be clear to shoot.
You know what? And I'll leave that to Cornell to decide whether he's... You good turret guy?
I'll manage either way, but I think I'm gonna let you drive this abomination if that's what you want to do.
You don't want to be in the seat behind a yellow bus?
Well, I'm assuming Bjorn is taking shotgun, and he's gonna be in his bright yellow coat and your bright yellow van.
I wanted the theme to be consistent.
Clearly.
That's right. I forgot he picked out the bright yellow coat. It's like the same shade of whatever you've got in the background there, Mike.
Oh, okay.
This is turning out to be a bananas in pajamas episode.
He comes racing down the stairs. Okay, we'll adjourn, go over to the bus, and I'll drive up to the bench where Blanca and Robin are sitting, and I do a little beep beep.
You can see through the display windows of the ski shop they're sitting in front of. It looks like they sell all manner of outdoor equipment. You do see snowshoes. You see mountain climbing gear, ice picks. Danny, did she go?
Yes, she did.
Did you pick it up, put it in the can?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Poop collection. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Make sure you give her a treat, okay?
Garbage in, garbage out.
Blanca, you see a bright yellow minivan pull up and toot the horn. And it literally is a toot. So very European.
Roll my eyes, put the bookmark in where I was studying, nudge Robin.
There's an enormous yellow gourd sitting in the passenger seat. Hey, did they drive on the right or the left in Switzerland?
I think it's right.
It's the same as America.
It's like Britain's like the only one that drives.
Yeah, yeah, and
Britain, Japan, where else?
Or South Africa.
Maybe.
good times.
Colonies
So
weren't great at adopting that, apparently.
imperial system. I mean, what's next?
Yeah, we're playing a European adventure, and we're using feet, inches, and miles instead of the metric
Yeah,
system.
I know.
It's good times.
I'll try to do better for you.
Okay.
I wouldn't understand it. Anyway, we tried that with Fragged Empire. And
Yeah.
we're like, nobody understood how far away anything was.
What is kilometer? It's just not quite a mile. Just
He's 10 meters in front of you. How far is that?
Well, it's like 38 and a third feet.
Just one of the many problems with Fragged, though.
yeah.
So are you guys going to go into the ski shop? You're going to get into the van?
Colonel, come with me. Everybody can pile in. I would say, Blanca, just pick a corner because you're going to be in there for a little while.
Yeah, get in the back and use the C pillar or whatever the back pillar is as kind of my headrest, and just hold up this spell book.
It is definitely a 6-seater.
Thanks.
It's a bench seat in all 3 rows. 8 people would be quite a bit in here. There's a tiny little hatch in the back for bags and such.
How's the clearance and suspension and like are these street tires, or is this thing gonna be able to go over an empty field if we need it to?
They're street tires. This is a street vehicle.
Okay.
No off-roading.
It looks like a good cattle crossing can hang it up.
Okay. So we'll go in there and we're going to get a set of snowshoes for everybody. We're going to size them appropriately. Small,
Rent
medium,
or buy.
extra large. We're renting. We're going to be bringing everything else back.
Snowshoes are 10 lira per pair.
Okay. Drop a 60 and call it good. I get everybody 60. Yes.
We actually gave him 10 too much. He's quite happy about that.
Oh.
It doesn't correct you.
He does not correct
It's
you.
a-
He gives you 5 pairs of snowshoes.
Yeah. And poles. And poles. We need the poles.
Poles.
Don't you walk with poles when you're snowshoeing?
Well, I don't, but I can let you have poles. He gives you beat up rental poles, doesn't charge you for them because you already tipped him.
Yeah. I will.
There's no paperwork to sign. It's an honor system. Please bring them back.
I haul it all out, or between Cornell and I, we haul it all out and we start throwing it into the upper rack. Do a few like
Wrap
bungee
your
cords,
snowshoes to the top.
leather straps or whatever it is up there, and call it good. I'm gonna sidle back into the front seat and road trip. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
It doesn't actually crank; it just clicks.
Yep, it just turns on. It's very quiet. It's like a Prius sneaking up on you in a parking lot.
Predators. Okay.
Eric, you're getting a little bit of camera jitter. Check your throughput.
Oh. That's not good. If I'm getting jitter, that means the whole signal is. I'll check it out.
Yep.
Are you selecting the road that is going to take you in the direction of the pass and the village of
So
Gornogrot?
that one, it splits and then you have the village, but then there's a left road that continues, and that's the one that wraps around, correct?
No, your road will take you through the village, and then further down the road you have a split where you can either head to Theodel Glacier or you can head up toward the pass, which is the direction of the farm and the encampment you saw with the film crew.
We're going towards that farm. If we do, we want to stop in Gornogrot? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I need to pull up that map 1 second.
I would initiate it, but I would have trouble because it's really, I need a 5th person in there for my configuration. But anyway.
So your bright yellow minivan putts along on these narrow mountain roads. It's almost always an incline, and you feel it straining as it climbs. This is not a power wagon. This is not a muscle car. And it makes, the harder it strains, the more an annoying whine the vehicle makes. The road is fairly crowded. a lot of people out. There's a lot of walkers on the side of the road. There's people with a lot of skiers. It looks like the drinking has already begun early because you see some weaving. People get up as much speed as they can and try to pass, which is insanely dangerous because you're going as hard as you can and they're going as hard as they can, and you're side by side for extended periods of time before they cut you off and get in front of you. Basically driving like foreigners. You spend about 30 minutes before you arrive at Gornegrat, which is incredibly underwhelming. It's maybe a dozen structures. All of them are either chalet or alpine farmhouse style, which is fieldstone.
Oh, fieldstone. Okay.
Yeah, fieldstone with peaked roofs. No thatch up here that you can see. The village
Not
looks
a
like maybe it has a pub, but you're not sure.
not a blue barn among them, I assume.
Nope. But plenty of tourists that have pulled off, crowding into the one pub, walking around this quaint village, taking pictures, embarrassing the locals and making them uncomfortable.
It's what we do.
You motor on through. These are high alpine meadows, a lot of sheep. You see sheep almost everywhere you go. A lot of what's called small wheat. It's never going to get very tall, but it looks like it's growing as well as it can. You do see some hay fields with haystacks. It's all fairly picturesque. The higher you go, the fewer trees there are. After a while, there are no trees, and you're all realizing that the altitude is significant, and it's harder for you to breathe. You're having to really
Yeah, I was wondering if we were
focus
wheezing
on
yet.
Yeah. Well, for any PC who's a smoker, you're wheezing. Within about another 20 minutes after you leave the village behind, you do come to start seeing signs that are pointing to a left turn up ahead that will take you to Theodule Glacier Ski Resort, or a right turn toward Gotthard Pass and Lupania. And there's all kinds of weather and snow warnings that are posted prohibiting travel certain times of the year. You realize that the driving season up here is a fairly short one. You have not seen any snow removal equipment anywhere the entire time you've been up here. So they either just let themselves be snowed in, or they've figured out how to do a workaround. You suspect there's probably more than one or two sleighs tucked away in some of these barns.
Not
The
surprised.
traffic thickens a bit as you approach that turnoff. There's not a lot of oncoming traffic this early in the day. Most of the traffic in front of you is turning off onto that left turn toward the ski resort. Are you going to continue up toward the pass?
Yes. Well, we're going towards, we're going to go up towards the pass. If we need to, we'll take a stop down Theodule Glacier after the fact, after we do some investigation. But
once you get past the turnoff, the road opens up. You only see one vehicle ahead of you and a couple that didn't take the turn off to the ski resort, some distance behind you, but everything else took that turn, so things open wide up. It's spectacular beauty up here. It's, for those of you who hadn't been up to the Alps, it's like nothing you've ever seen. For a while, you even forget that it's hard to breathe. Within about another 30 minutes, your vehicle is really whining and protesting. It's not as whiny as the Rose of Belfast was when it was flying into Zermatt. But Danny, you have your doubts as to whether or not this thing could even make it up to the pass into Lupania. That's a big maybe. You also see that the more uphill you go, the faster your battery drains.
Is there any heat markers, indicators on this vehicle?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna look at that and probably decide that we need to kind of pull off to the side. Let everybody stretch their legs and all that business.
Okay. You pull off to the side. You've got a mixture of sheep grazing on the foothills. You've got wheat fields, big flowering meadows, and the view of the Matterhorn from here is amazing. But then so are the rest of the Alps that are marching in front of you, and they're much, much closer than the Matterhorn is at this point.
I am
How long are you
totally
going to pull over?
set up the camera and I'm gonna snap a shot or two. I still have film in this camera. Might as well.
How long has it been since we left town?
A little over an hour.
Okay. Finish my book, put it back in the pack, pay closer attention to what's going on, reinvest.
Right now, it looks like a stretch your legs and pee in the meadow break. A couple of vehicles pass you. Happy tourists yelling in different languages and waving as they go by.
Bonjour, bonjour.
So are we kind of standing on a packed slate kind of road, just kind of dirt and stone?
Yeah, the verge at the side of the road is just dirt and gravel. And then
So we're still fairly below the snow line, correct?
You are, but it looks like another 20 minutes to a half an hour and you should be at the snow. With your map and your estimations, you're probably about 15 minutes away from the farm and about 30 to 35 minutes away from where you saw the film crew making camp.
Just do a quick appraisal of the team. Everybody's dressed for the weather, correct?
Bjorn slaps his parka. Yeah.
Ridiculous parka. Avert my eyes. Preserve my day vision.
I'm blind.
There's two suns.
If you can't spot him next to the van, it's pretty good camouflage. This might pay off for him.
It was my plan all along. And if there's gunfire and I draw it, you won't be complaining then. as you cower behind my masculinity.
Oh, all of it. So, we know the film crew's up ahead, Blanca. We also know that there is a farm with a blue barn up ahead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There has been some, people talk about this little place up by the pass, and I'm very interested in that. I'm not for
by the pass?
Not for touristy activity. There's a city, or there's a few buildings at the top of the pass where it goes into Lupania.
Okay.
That is a total tourist move.
Well, let's just see if we find the guy at this farm, then we can decide whether or not it is a total tourist move. Because if we don't find him there, he might be up at that lovely little place having a beer. And we all know what he looks like, right? They got the photos.
What photos?
The photos that we never got, or we don't have any indication of. Did anybody even give us a vague physical description of what we're looking
Nothing.
for?
You
We
have a
just have
name.
his name.
You know, he was a research scientist at a Clovian lab.
Okay.
Holy
So we're either going to catch him or put a bullet in him, and
And
we
Jonathan
also
told us if he is part of an ambush, we are to terminate him, and that if we encounter echelon personnel on Burgundian soil, we are to terminate them.
Jeez, I
Don't
had
remember much else about the briefing.
all these opportunities. The problem with it is anything that incurs that disrupts the peace of this place. And I don't know, for some reason, I'm really into the peace of this place. So,
we're
You
far
mean like
enough
an
from the
assassin ambushing you in the bathroom?
well, I think you did good work on that, but we kept it quiet.
I was magnificent.
You tore her apart like. Never mind. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, some of us had to clean that up.
Not me.
Know that I did not sleep in that room after that night. Just be aware.
Crybaby.
Moving on.
We done here?
I just wanted to let the engine rest. The thing sounded like it was about to die, and the battery levels, they're not exactly holding, but maybe when we go up, it'll like charge coming down, but I don't know. I don't know how well these things are built.
Yeah.
You're a mechanic, right?
Yeah, I spent some time under a hood.
How are you with electric vehicles?
Honestly, I haven't messed with them a whole lot. I'm usually combustion, but I could pop the hood and take a look.
Let's take a minute.
I hate to say it, but Bjorn actually owns one of these. Just he owns an electric vehicle like this. Just bigger, right, Bjorn?
Yeah, the library van, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and in my past life, I was a auto tinkerer, but like Cornell, it was combustion. The electric van is just for me to play with in and around the Obelisk.
So you haven't cracked it
over.
open? Oh.
Move over to the hood with Cornell, Banny, Bjorn. You guys are welcome to come observe. There's only so much room in front of them. So, help me understand a little bit how the charge is absorbed into this thing and what rate it can take electricity.
Oh, wait a second. I'm overhearing this from a distance, and I'm saying we're not going to shock this thing. You're very... I just expect that sparks will fly and things will explode. I'm not too keen on this idea. I can see
Cornell,
where you're going.
Do you have a mechanics crafting skill?
Yeah. I should. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trained.
All right.
Well, I don't have high intelligence though, so it's just a 10.
Bjorn's got an expert rating in it.
Uh-huh.
So he's got a 14. How's your number?
I'm a 10.
All right. So if you help him or he helps you, which one is?
It'd make more sense for him to do the work and to me assist, because then he makes his roll either way, and then if I happen to make mine, then he gets a bonus.
What's the objective here?
I'm hoping between Bjorn and Cornell to understand the nature of electrical absorption and how much it can take, and just try to apply my magical theory to the equation. So if we get into a bind and need electrical power, is there a way I can infuse this thing in small amounts without blowing the whole thing up?
All right.
It would, yeah.
Bjorn's gonna try for his roll. He gets a nat 20.
Nice.
and begins to give you a dissertation on electrical engineering. He says
rises.
I said he owned one.
the battery cells in this absorb and store electricity. So in theory, I've never seen it done, but in theory, you're talking about your lightning, yes?
And I have variations of it that aren't as strong, but yes.
So the theory would be, yes, it could recharge. It could supercharge, or it could blow it up. It depends on how much energy goes into the battery and how much the battery can take. I wouldn't even begin to know how you measure the power of your electricity.
I guess that's what I'm trying to understand is you have gauges that tell you electrical capacity stuff. I studied this a little bit in school, but again, I wasn't really paying attention to that. But I recognize that there's commonality in that they're both electrical. And if I could somehow understand the maximum ability of this thing and gauge that against what I know my output is, maybe I can roll it back to a degree.
Have you ever tested that?
Remember Mom's car?
Uh-huh.
That was a combustion vehicle.
But it used a battery to start, and did you jump start it? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we were leaving her office one day, and I was kind of mad, and I just vented in the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we spent a while repairing the car after that, if you'll recall.
Cornell, I want your opinion on this. My instinct is that if she can adjust her electrical flow, that less is better, rather than do the full Monty and create an explosion. And if it burns out at the lowest level of your electrical output, then we'll know that I was completely wrong. And you'll have that satisfaction.
I probably also wouldn't do it directly to the battery. Maybe if we could find some, some leads to connect to the battery, that you do it through that.
Some copper, perhaps.
All right. So, I don't want to disable our vehicle while we're still using it, but before we get to a dire situation where we're fleeing with our captive and taking them, if we've got battery issues or charge issues, I just want to make sure we've got the ability to go off the reservation.
If we're out of charge,
off road. But and Cornell can back me up on this. I think it's both of our professional mechanical opinion with automobiles that you'll go faster going downhill.
That's been my experience.
All right. I guess I was just testing a theory. Let's get back on the road.
Bjorn sneaks Cornell.
If we're out of charge, though, it might be worth a Hail Mary.
Okay. Yeah. As long as I'm just not completely off base here.
Yeah.
Or hijack a vehicle that works.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
There's an idea.
We could do that. I'm sure that there are plenty of vehicles that work at the film location. We just tell them where to hand it off.
With people who are no match for our military skills.
Absolutely.
Bunny, did you get enough pictures for your book?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm good. Ready to go when you are.
That's why we stopped?
Clearly he wants one from the top of the Alps. Because visiting the mountain climbing museum is absolutely on mission.
I mean, seriously, when you're this close.
Benny, you brought back a huge gem from our previous mission, so I'm going to let a lot of this shit slide. But let's try to stay on mission where we can. I don't want publications to get in the way of mission.
I'm not actually. So the vehicle is overheating. It's acting funny. I didn't really feel comfortable pushing it consistently.
Okay.
So I really did stop for a reason. mission lead. We're
This is weird for me too, so let's just get that out in the open.
yeah, it's I felt like the mechanics of this thing were a little bit rough.
All right. Well, let's go.
But
let's
you're
go
all
somewhere.
studied up at this point. Yeah, I'm going to sidle into the seat and click it on, and
Your van feels a little bit happier now that it's had a chance to rest, but the heat needle, quickly starts moving toward the red again. It's the incline. You know that this is not a very powerful engine. These actually might fare better up here than a combustion engine because they don't require oxygen.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So you continue up the mountain, and within about 20 minutes, you see that you crest the hill and you see that there is a valley below you on the left side. Actually, it's on both sides. And then the road climbs steeply. Very quickly, it's into the snow line, and then it begins a snaking zigzag back and forth up the side of the Alps. Right at the snow line, it looks like it starts getting rocky immediately. You can look up to the right and see the ski resort you were at. And when you see all the boulders up there, now you know that skiing down that would have been an impossibility. The boulders just continue down into the meadows for some distance. Also, up just inside the snow line, you can see little dark shapes that could be in the same approximate area as the film crew's camp. And in this valley down on the left, which is full of sheep and cows that are out grazing, you see a fairly small farm with a big blue barn. From what you can see, it looks like this is the last farm before you reach the snow line.
And is it off to the left, or do we go up a little bit and then off to the left? Is there
You just crested over the top of a hill, so you do have a little bit of downhill gliding before you see the dirt turnoff to the farm. Past the turnoff, it starts climbing again.
I am going to move down to the dirt turnoff and look back. Are we good? Do we want to do this?
Let's walk it in from here.
You want to walk it in?
Well, this thing's not great at climbing. It goes back downhill to get to the farm, right?
Yes. And the farm is in a level part of the valley floor.
I think we take it.
Can we turn the vehicle around and get it faced back our direction without too much difficulty?
Yeah, you could do a
17
5-point turn. Yeah.
We have some binoculars or something, don't we?
Yeah. Let's
scopes and field glasses.
Yeah, I want to. While Bunny does his 16-point turn, I want to step out and just look over the farm, see if there's any people out and about, vehicles that are parked in the area, that kind of, just kind of make a general note of the farm.
So just so that I'm clear, are you guys going to drive down the hill and
are we
turn off before you turn around?
Are we driving, just taking a left and going down to the farm, or over across to the farm and then turning the vehicle around? What's the...
So picture this. You've got the main road. You're at the top of a hill. It's going to go down into a dip and come back up the other side and head up deeper into the Alps. At the base of the dip, off to the left side, is the dirt turnoff. And you can see that roughly paralleling the road is a stream, and it looks like just before the road starts to climb up again, the main road, it looks like there's a wide spot that's formed some kind of a pond. And there's a tiny little stone bridge that crosses it. The entire dirt road from the main road to the farm to the barnyard looks like it's maybe 100 yards.
Okay. Do we want to get a little closer so we can pick them up and run if there's a problem in the vehicle? Or do we want to park it at the bottom, or park it like 50 yards in and walk in?
Now, I'm assuming you guys have stopped off the side of the road at the top of this rise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Cornell, you're looking out there with either a scope or binoculars. Go ahead and do a perception.
23.
Okay.
And the blue barn is how many yards, feet from our position?
So you've probably got about a quarter mile down the main road to get to the lower level area. And then from there, it's 100 yards of dirt road to get to the barnyard itself.
What's the plan? I feel like my ass is hanging out here
Well,
in our big yellow van.
I want to keep the van in position up here. I don't want us struggling back up the road if we have to get out of here with haste. I want to go in on foot and investigate this place.
Okay.
Uh,
Can we pull it like 20 yards in at least, just so it's off of the main road and not fully accessible? I just
you don't want to block in the path.
Yeah, well,
You should probably also get it just below the ridge line, maybe.
Well,
Just-
yeah, we've got that little saddle area where we can park it in. It would probably be visible from up the mountain where we were, but anybody on the road wouldn't see it till they were right on top of it.
Till they're right on top. That sounds fine. I don't want it too far away from us wherever we are, because if we have to hoof it back to the van,
Let's take it down to the base of the saddle after Cornell gets a good look at the place. I will put an illusion on it that makes it look like it's derelict. I'm going to give it a flat tire, some rust. It's just a beat up vehicle. That way
Cool.
nobody else will take it.
Works for me.
Are you bringing your snowshoes, or are you leaving them strapped to the van? No cover.
We should
We're-
take those if we have to make egress. Do we have an extra set for our sixth person?
Nope.
Oh,
Don't worry about it.
And
I'll carry mine. I can always get back up here via.
And you paid for 6.
I did pay for 6.
That rat bastard.
Look at this. But we are below the snow line still, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So strap
So
up here on the back.
Cornell, tell us what you see, and then we'll get in position.
All right. I pulled
All
those,
right.
those
What
binos.
was your perception roll, Cornell?
23.
23. Okay. It looks like from here, the nearest neighbor to this farm is a good 5 miles. And there's nothing up, and that's behind you. There's nothing ahead up into the mountains. What you see is, if this is going to help you much, or if you'll be able to see it. You see your road with the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got your barnyard. You've got to my left, it's a house with a chicken coop. You've got a well in the center, pig pen to the north, big blue barn. What looks like it might be some kind of a garage, and then it's not so much a pasture, it's a cow corral with like a milking shed. That's the entire farm. Out beyond, it looks like there's no crops being grown here. Beyond, it looks like it's all just grazing and meadows. A lot of sheep out there, a lot of cows out there. You see pigs in the pen. You see a handful of black and white dairy cows in the pen near the milking, but the rest of them look like they're all wandering free. You spot at least 2. You assume that they're boys just based on their size, out in the fields with long shepherd's crooks. In the main yard, you quickly spot who's obviously the patriarch of the family. They're all dressed very common in overalls. You see a couple of girls, you see a couple more boys. He's carrying milk pails. It's just a very pleasant, generic looking farm. It doesn't look like there's any activity. And the only vehicles you see down there are wagons.
Horse drawn?
Yep.
So if we park ahead or behind the bridge, I think we should park closest to the to the farm side of the bridge. If you want to hold that up again.
I'm gonna take a picture and email it to you.
Okay, that works.
If I'd been smart, I would have scanned it and sent it that way, but I'm not. So.
Well, this is also like scanning. It's perfect. So if we park it there and we do the derelict thing, I don't know if that might set people off, but
If it's off the main road by the bridge like that, it may not need the illusion. Because that's closer than we were originally saying.
Yeah, I just didn't want people passing by the main road looking at it with suspicion, right?
Yeah.
If it looked like it was broken down, then people would go, "Oh, well, they had a problem. They must have hiked out."
Yeah, and it would work. The reason why I want it to be closer, but I don't necessarily want it to be in there. And if we throw an illusion on it now, it might unsettle the populace. Unless we keep it on the other side of the bridge and derelict it there.
So
Go with whatever you feel is good, though, because I think
it's fine. It was a measure of protection if we were going to be back on the main road. If we're off on this private lane, I don't think it matters.
Agreed.
Okay. So
Cornell, you said you saw what looks like the proprietor or the owner and a couple of his boys or servants.
I would assume as boys. There's no other nearby farms or anything, so it doesn't make sense for. Well, I guess it could be. I think there was a couple young girls, but I think he was the only adult I saw. Everyone else was adolescent or younger.
So if this individual is housing this defector, they're going to be on lookout or on guard for strangers approaching the property.
I agree.
We're not, it's not a secret we're here at this point. I say we go in with badges.
Well, okay. I was going to say, if we've got the broken down concept and we're here for assistance, that could be our reason for stopping and a disarming reason to be approaching the farmstead. But
one thing we haven't considered is that this guy is a mage.
Or this is a trap, like was suggested, and we're dealing with potential hostiles.
Yeah. So,
but I don't know that if I were on assignment, I'd be willing to carry milk jugs around just to keep my cover.
Shepherd's crooks.
Yeah, the 9-year-old's a trained killer.
Well, 9-year-olds are deceptive.
You do see some chickens and a couple of dogs.
Well,
maybe a cat.
My point about this guy being a mage is that, Blanca, if you were hiding in a foreign country and you wanted to take refuge at some farm, would you ask permission or would you just make it happen?
Take over a derelict farm and just.
If I had the idea that I could maintain my deception or hide on the farm for the duration, I may not tell anyone. Yeah, fair point.
Just something to consider, I think, is if we
They
go down there and
probably
talk to
don't get a lot
a
of
farmer.
visitors. They don't get a lot of visitors out here. And we could always use the idea that we're with the film crew scouting locations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we go in more anonymous first. Ask if.
I can't put to rest the idea that Echelon is a step ahead of us. And
Yeah. I think though
Or a fast follow.
a fast follow makes it feel a little bit more likely, but at the same time,
I'm more worried. I mean, I'm more concerned getting out of here with our prize because Echelon has followed us here, and now we've given ourselves a very remote location for a gunfight, and we're exposing innocent lives to an old feud between two institutions.
yeah. We need to move quick then. That's why I think pretense is probably we should throw it out the window
Just go in with our badges and say why we're here.
and say why we're here. See if they
It's our
got.
country.
Yeah, it is our country. Ask if they have had any visitors. Ask if they were expecting anybody.
All right, they're going to be expecting a strong male authority. Normally, I would say that we go to our biggest member for that, but I also want something more refined. So, Benny, why don't you go in?
Oh, I was thinking Cornell.
What are you trying to say, MP?
I don't want any bloodshed.
I will.
It always seems to find us.
We'll
When
see.
it comes to that, we know who to call in.
Okay, so let's form up and move in, or do you want to take position around the farm?
Something that just occurred to me. Robin and Cornell might do well to kind of scout the perimeter while we make contact.
There's not a lot of cover down there. These are pretty open fields. Unless you want to give us an hour to crawl through some grass.
How long does your invisibility last?
I can either do one person or all of us, but then you have to stay in close proximity to me, and that kind of spoils the punch.
I would put it on Cornell then.
And then how long does it last?
I think till he spoils it himself.
If I was Cornell, I would want to be invisible while I'm scouting the perimeter out in those open meadows. He could be attacked by a sheep, a 9-year-old. Anything could happen to him.
Shepherd's crook. Whoa, bam!
Actually, it doesn't give him much time. It gets 10 minutes.
That wouldn't even get him down the hill.
We do have the rifles. We could just
Camp out.
set position up here. At least some of us could.
So
if you want Overwatch, but I think I'm just as valuable down there as I am up here. It's your call though, Blanco.
I don't want to split us up. Let's just stay together, because if I leave you guys as our rear guard and then the rear guard gets attacked, we can't get back to you quickly.
Yep.
If we need your help, you can't get to us quickly.
Fair.
Well, spear formation, right?
I guess so.
So are you going to leave your yellow love bug up at the top of this hill, walk a quarter mile down, and then go up the dirt road?
No, we're going.
We'll drive down.
So you're going to drive right in?
Drive to the turnoff. That's what is that? A couple hundred yards from there.
Yeah, it's a quarter mile down to the turnoff.
Mm-hmm.
You reach that, and as promised, Banny, you notice that your little electric bus enjoys going downhill a whole lot more than going uphill.
Yeah.
And then you reach the dirt turnoff.
I think you gave us a thumbnail, but that is acceptable. So the dirt turnoff going over the bridge, I think we should go over the bridge, and that's where we should park the van, and that's where we should exit. Or we could get, I wouldn't go too deep. Just over the bridge, park it, if that seems to make sense to you.
Do what you feel is right, Benny.
I don't. If we get too close, we're in a total perfect, mess.
I just sent a larger image to you guys. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you.
And I will pull this in so that we can look at it.
So are you crossing the bridge, or are you parking before the bridge?
I'm parking on the other side of the bridge, just as we go over the bridge. Park it off to the right side.
You motor up the dirt road, thumping across the bridge. Just on the other side, you pull off to the shoulder.
And everybody's got their gear. Smoke them if you got them. You got your weapons. Hold them.
Are the weapons out?
No. Keep them with you. But we're walking up. I've got my badge in my pocket. I'm ready to produce it as soon as we get close enough. It's not going to matter to this person at all, I guarantee. But we'll have a conversation.
So the 5 of you make your way up the dirt road. You're about halfway to the barnyard when you hear a dog start barking. You hear a couple of children shouting, and you see a pair of small blonde little girls. Every child you've seen is in the classic dress of the locals, and they're pointing, and you hear them yelling, "Papa, Papa, Papa."
I'm going to wave, friendly like, walking down the road. We're dressed like tourists, after all.
Tourists were they?
You make your way up to where the road ends at the barnyard. One dog stays back near the well. It looks like it's got its head down a little bit. Another dog, both of them are mutts, comes just happily loping up to you, wagging its tail for all it's worth. The children all keep their distance. You see about 6 of them now in the barnyard. And the father comes out of the milking shed. He's not carrying the buckets anymore. And he starts walking straight toward you. He's wearing overalls, shin-high rubber boots, and a straw hat. Big dude.
Excellent. Hey, sir. I'm going to be speaking in Broken Alaman because I expect that that's what he's familiar with.
Yeah, they speak almost exclusively Alamani out here in the sticks.
In the sticks. Okay. I'm going.
Do you have a number, a language roll that you would make?
No. It's like diplomacy and everything gets really rough. I can't deceive the guy. I can't try and be deceptive. It doesn't work. But what am I trying to say? Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that it? Is that the only counter? I mean, other than the fact that we might have a language barrier.
I'm just wondering if there's a dice roll we can do for the language barrier, or if I'm going to have to wing it with broken.
So in broken languages, you can't read or write in that language. You can't use deception. You're essentially coming at it raw. You also miss cues or anything that's like